My riding mower with a Briggs Stratton VTek 22 horsepower V-twin engine would only click and refuse to start. In this video, I'll go step by step through diagnosing what the problems may be. So let's get started. The first thing I checked was the battery. It's reading 12.77 volts. It's not uncommon for the safeties on these units to give you a problem, whether it's the deck safety, the seat safety, the brake safety, several of them. But last year I was having issues with a couple of the safety switches. I don't recommend this, but I bypassed all the safety switches. So when I turn on this ignition, it goes straight to the starter solenoid, right to the starter, and that's it. So there isn't anything to prevent the current to flow. With that said, another item that's very common on these, with these overhead valves, if your valves aren't gapped right, it could cause too much compression. That could be a problem, or no compression at all. But in this case, it would be too much compression I would be looking at, because it's not spinning this at all. Not enough compression, and this flywheel would just spin. And the flywheel does turn easy by hand. Another item on these units, they have a pressure relief valve that's on the cam, and sometimes they go, causing too much head pressure when you go to start it, and these starters just don't have the power to spin it over. So those are several of the problems that could be going on. Now, what I tried, I'm thinking it's the starter, is what I tried to do, and I've done this several times on machines that had weak batteries, and I just had to get them going. Let me show you what I'm doing over here. And you want to be careful. Anything I'm showing you here, I'm showing you what I do, and I'm not recommending that you do. And if you do it, be careful. I have this battery pack that's fully charged that I have connected directly to the starter, and it's grounded. Let's see, the key is on. Now, when you hear that click, that means the solenoid is working. That's not always an indication that you have a good starter solenoid switch, because it can make that click and not make full contact. But what I'm doing now is bypassing everything. The safeties are bypassed, I'm bypassing the starter solenoid, and I'm going right to this jumper pack, and I'm going to turn it on now, and listen to this. Oh, it did turn. Okay. All right, so this jumper pack has a little bit more juice than the battery. Nothing again. So what I'm going to do is to remove the starter, and I'm going to check it out. To remove the starter, if you watched a couple of my videos before, this cowling has to come off, and the starter's right here. It's easy to remove once we remove this. Once we have the starter out, I'll show you what I find with it. I wasn't sure if it was the starter or not, so I pulled the starter out just to check it out. This is what I found. Listen to the noise that this starter makes. Connecting the negative wire, and we're connecting the positive cable onto where the battery cable would normally go. And this is off this jumper. This does spin, but listen to it. There's something in there that's grinding. Now, let me check this other starter. This is off a mower that was running until it needed a head gasket, and then the bolts broke off into the block, and something I'll get back to someday. But for now, we're checking out the starter. Now, listen to this starter. This is also off of Briggs. We don't hear that grinding. I'm going to install this starter. I'm not quite sure if it's strong enough to turn that engine, because it is a different size. If you put these side by side, these mounting holes line up, although this one has a little indent up here, but the holes do line up. But the body of the starter is of a different size. The replacement starter is shorter. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. And the big thing with these starters, you have to make sure that you have the same amount of teeth on the gear. This gear has 16 teeth, and so does this one here. And another thing to keep track of, if ever you go to change your starter gear, You want to make sure you're replacing plastic with plastic and metal with metal. It makes a big difference. I do have a video up above showing how to change the starter gears. My next step now is to install this starter and see if we get this engine to turn over. So I have the borrowed starter on. Let's see if that's going to make a difference. Well, not from the battery. Let's try with the power pack. I'm going to try this one more time with the key and the jumper on the battery. I know the jumper's weak, and this is an old jumper, it's several years old. This keeps popping off. I got it all put back together. Let's give it a shot here, see what happens. Okay, that's not happening. Okay, well, I got to cut this lawn today because since last week we had several days of rain, and this grass is getting quite tall. I don't know if the camera's picking it up out there. But anyway, this is what we're going to do to get this started. I followed my 10-point checklist, which is up above, and I'm going to start it with this drill. If you do something like this, you want to be careful because this could spin out of your hand. You could get hurt doing this. I'm not recommending it. It's just something that I do from time to time. I usually do this when I pick up mowers to see what kind of condition they're in before I start working on them. But I'm using this now to start this so I could cut the lawn. And then I'm going to take this battery and check it out to see if the battery's dead or what the story may be. Here we go. To do this, you have to have the key on and just get it spinning. I'm gonna have to put this camera down because I need two hands for this. Well, I have some good news and not so good news. Yesterday I was able to cut this whole lawn with that mower by starting it up with the drill. Today now, on this other mower, this is a mower that I installed this Predator 708cc engine on last year. I have the link to it up above. When I turned the key, this engine cranked. I have this charger fully charged, and when I use the charger to try to start it, slightly better than the other unit, but not by much. So the good news is it's not the pressure release mechanism that's bad on the other unit. It's this power pack, the battery that's on the unit, and the really bad news, this battery here. This is a battery that I pulled out of the backhoe to charge up, and my backhoe requires two 12-volt batteries. 24-volt system, and according to the battery charger, this thing was fully charged, so the unit wouldn't start with this battery or with the jumper. The bad news is I'm going to have to replace this battery for the backhoe and the other battery, and we're probably looking at $400 to $500 just for these two batteries, plus the battery for the lawn tractor. Now you say, well, why didn't I check the battery earlier? I did check the battery with the voltmeter, and it said I had 12 point something volts. And the battery charger had it at the same voltage reading. It did have that voltage in it, but once you started drawing down, that voltage was gone. The error on my part was not checking the battery with the proper tool. But we got to check a few other items out. If you're interested in purchasing this tool, I have my Amazon link down below. Or if you have an auto parts store nearby, they usually check your batteries for free. I suggest before you go into everything I just went through, get your battery checked. And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, give it a like. It does help. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. Hit that Joe Z button. And not to miss my new videos as I upload them, be sure to ring that bell. Until next time, Be safe.